Let's pick up on factors impacting, FX, T-bills and bond markets right now, because amongst them, and I touched on it a little earlier, has been offshore interest in Nigeria in the last month at the top. Run us through the kind of interest we're seeing from offshore markets right now.
Yeah, we've seen quite a volume of liquidity coming from the offshore clients, especially in the Treasury Bills and especially on the 1 year and the 182 days. And then they also participated at the last auction also slightly, but the volume is not anywhere comparable to what we saw in the Treasury Bill of the auction last week. Total, in terms of total subscription of that last auction was well over 400 billion, and out of which only total of 149 billion was sold in the three maturities: the 91 days, the 182 days, and the 1 year. But you see that in the 1 year, notwithstanding that 50 billion was actually on offer, they had to sell about 85 billion to be able to meet the kind of demand that was at that particular window due to the offshore presence. And the impact of it also was felt majorly on the exchange side. We saw the naira appreciating by over 1 naira during that last week session.
Of course, that's the kind of impact that offshore interest is having on the markets right now. Dare, let's pick up on what kind of interest we're seeing from local banks in comparison.
Yeah, for the local banks also, they are also interested in the current yield. In terms of yield comparison, notwithstanding the fact that the oil price have been hiked, we saw that the inflation came out at about 12.6%, and so for them it is still a very positive yield call for them, investing at 16%, and in terms of a discount and getting about 19, 17, 18, 19% in terms of yield. So it's still very good for them. So also from the corporate end locally, we have seen a lot of demand, but we actually expect them to participate more in on the bond auction, especially the pension fund and the fund managers. We expect them to participate more tomorrow at the auction. The auction is actually for tomorrow, and we only have 2 maturities on offer for tomorrow.
Yeah, what exactly are you anticipating on that front, Dare? Because when it comes to T-bills, Nigeria sold 149.6 billion naira worth of Treasury bills last week, with yields on the 182-day and 364-day papers lower than the previous auction, while on the 91-day yields, we saw those rising slightly. So that's showing interest specifically for longer dated Treasury bills as opposed to the shorter dated bills.
Yes, that is exactly what I was trying to say, that you have to actually expect more, because that last week when the auction was done, beyond the fact that the market was relatively tight in terms of money market, you still have so much participation at the auction. So just that tells you that now that the the FAC had actually come into the system, you have more liquidity in the system now, and that is even the reason why yesterday central bank have to do some little mop up. Remember that before now, this auction is actually supposed to have taken place about 2 weeks ago, but the reality of it is that the DMO thought that there was no liquidity in the system, and the yield could probably have been hiked to the level that might probably not be good for them, and that was why they had to do a postponement of the auction. So now you have the offshore presence, so you have a lot of liquidity coming from them. They join with the local, which also have a lot of liquidity. Then you just imagine that it's going to be massively subscribed for.